Today, we are going to talk about asset protection strategies for entrepreneurs with a special focus on the best asset protection plan for Brazilian entrepreneurs. I am very happy to welcome my partner, Enzo Caputo. Enzo has more than 35 years of experience as an international asset protection lawyer and has also served as CEO of the Swiss Asset Managers Association. Enzo, I would like to ask you, what is the first step if you want to start your plan about asset protection?
The first step of my clients, I always do the same. The first step is very simple. You have to transfer your assets outside of your country. This is the first step, because if your assets are in your home country, in Brazil, for example, they are on the silver plate for the authorities, for financial predators, for competitors, for if you have greedy spouse or whatever, divorce or whatever it is. It's very easy for the authorities or for your counterparties or financial predators to have access to your assets. That's why what we do, the first step is always opening a Swiss bank account in Switzerland in the name of the client. This is the first step. We open the account opening for entrepreneurs. You can start from 1 million Swiss francs and more. Below it makes no sense because you cannot diversify your investments enough. So we start from 1 million Swiss francs, which is a little bit more, let's say $1 million and more. We open an account in your name, in the name of the client. That's very important, not in the name of the asset manager or in the name of a company, in your name. This is the first step. We open an account. In Switzerland, you have the safest banks in the world. They are very well capitalized, so you have much better banks. We have many clients from the United States of America, and they are so happy to have a Swiss bank account because here the banks are very well capitalized, and we work exclusively with the safest of the safest banks. So we only suggest to our clients, there are more than 200 Swiss banks, and we suggest only banks with a tier 1 capital ratio in excess of 20%. So that's very, very high. And these are super safe banks, very well capitalized. So the account opens an account there, and you receive automatically within 10 days, the account is opened. You receive automatically a multi-currency account. So from day one, you receive an account in US dollar, you receive an account in British pound, in Swiss francs, and in euro. So you have already covered the currencies, but you can have more than 20 currencies if you like. So from day one, if you like, you can have a multi-currency account with more than 20 currencies. But most clients, they start with 4 or 5 currencies. So it's dollar, Swiss franc, British pound, euro. So these are the basic currencies for our clients. Then you transfer your US dollar. Mostly our American clients transfer their US dollars here. Or what you can do, you can even transfer your investments. So if you have good investments, if you have good stocks, if you don't want to sell these investments, you can even transfer the investments to your account. This is very important to avoid a taxable event, because in most jurisdictions, if you sell your investments, this triggers a taxable event. If you want to avoid that, you can do a transfer in kind. That means you transfer your bonds and your stocks to your Swiss bank account. No taxable event. Very important. We analyze the situation on a case-by-case basis. And then the assets on your account, a big part of it will be invested in Swiss francs, of course, because Swiss francs is really one of the most successful currencies in the world, beside gold. Very low inflation, preserve the value. If you look back 10 years, if you would have invested in Swiss francs 10 years ago, you will be surprised how much money you protected just by investing in Swiss francs without doing any investment, just by keeping it in Swiss francs. So, and what is also what we do, we The bank is there as a custody. The bank is only the custody. So we put the money on the bank. The money is in the bank, in custody, in your name. But the assets are managed by an external asset manager. This is very important, not by the bank. Not by the bank, because we have many clients. We just last Monday we opened an account for multiple millions for a couple going out of Singapore. They live in Singapore. Then I told them, but in Singapore there are plenty of banks. Singapore it's a financial center, a competitor of Switzerland, one of the major competitors. And they told me, yes, but the service is so bad. The performance is so bad. People are changing there all the time. I have the fluctuation of the stuff, I speak 2 months with this person. 6 months later, have somebody else speaking. They don't take my calls. The service is very bad. The performance is a disaster for years because what they do, these banks, they buy their own products. They put in the portfolio, they put structured products issued by the bank. They put funds or even hedge funds with low liquidity. Bad. Our asset manager, we advise to our client, they never invest in illiquid products. Your money should remain liquid all the time. If you do like that, if you need your money in 24 hours, your money should be liquid and not, no. A statement showing a lot of million is useless if your assets are just on the statement. If you cannot use it, the asset must be liquid. So we are very, very severe in the selection of very good asset manager. We work with 10 asset managers, different asset managers. So what we do to our client, we suggest 3-4 banks. The clients look at these banks, he expresses his wishes, and then we also suggest 2-3 asset managers. So what happened to these external asset managers? You give a limited power of attorney to manage your assets according to your instructions. But most of our clients are conservative investors. They don't come to Switzerland to speculate. If you want to speculate, you can go to Wall Street, that's the right place. In Switzerland, it's more asset protection, it's more long-term, it's more wealth preservation, it's more generational wealth. So you keep money in Switzerland for rainy days, you keep money in Switzerland for the next generation, you keep money in Switzerland you don't need tomorrow. So you need money in Switzerland for long term. Just to give you a figure, the average duration of a Swiss bank account is 17 years. So the money stays usually in Switzerland for 17 years. That's even longer than a marriage.
Sure.
If you compare the marriages, how long a marriage stays, and with the divorce rate we have these days, 17 years is a lot. And what speaks for Switzerland is also in Switzerland, close to 30% of all the liquid assets, offshore assets in the world are managed in Switzerland. Close to 30%. And so many investors can simply not be wrong. So it's a very good jurisdiction to have your assets because you still have bank secrecy. You cannot misuse, as it was in the old days the case, you cannot misuse the Swiss bank secrecy for tax evasion because there is the automatic exchange of information, there is the automatic exchange of the tax information. You have to pay your taxes. So Switzerland is not to hide taxes. It has nothing to do with hiding taxes or cheating the tax authorities. It's just about legal asset protection, 100% legal. Because if your assets are outside of your country, it's more difficult to get access to your assets. And you have to do this today, not tomorrow or later, today. You have to do asset protection when the sun is shining. You have to do it when everything is okay. When the first problems arise, it can be too late because in most of the jurisdictions, I know, if you start moving money when you have problems, when creditors are behind you, when the greedy spouse is behind you or whatever, when you start moving money at that moment, it's already too late. It can be a criminal act moving money at that stage. So you have to do it before. It's very important. So, as I said, the first asset protection step for beginners, very important, is opening a Swiss bank account in their name. And then, second step, then we analyze the situation of the client, where he lives, etc. We have many clients from the United States, and especially for medical doctors, they are under risk. they have a huge professional risk. They have huge liability risk. For these kind of clients, what we do, we open a Cook Island Asset Protection Trust in the Cook Islands, which is the best jurisdiction. If you put your money in the Cook Island Trust, I have to say something very important. The trust is the Cook Island, but the money is always in Switzerland, not in the Cook Island, just to be clear, because clients investing money in the Cook Islands, I would not do that. I would not recommend to do that because the level of services there is not comparable to the Swiss level of services. So, and to the Swiss safety, of course, and to the protection from the Swiss jurisdiction. So, money is always in Switzerland. So you have on top the Cook Island Asset Protection Trust for the Americans. Then the trust controls a media company or a Panama company or a Bermuda or any other offshore company. And you are of this company, so you control your money as a director of the company. The account is here, in this case, with the Americans, in the name of your offshore company. You are the director. When bad things happen, what you do? You step out as a director and the professional trustee goes in. So the judge in the US cannot order you to send the money back because the professional trustee has to do his duties. His duties are to preserve, to follow the trust guidelines, to follow the laws in the Cook Islands, and not to follow US laws. So that's why you step out. So no judge can order the professional trustee in the Cook Islands to send money to the US. No way. So if a financial predator from the US wants your money, they have to start legal proceedings in the Cook Islands, which is very difficult. And what is very important, why the Cook Islands are so sexy for asset protection, because after a period of 2 years, the assets in the trust cannot be attacked anymore. They are bulletproof. Because after 2 years period, no claim can be filed. It's impossible to file and claim. In other jurisdictions, you have 5 years. In other jurisdictions, you have 6 years, like in the Cayman Islands, for example, 6 years. The shortest period is in the Cook Islands. It's 2 years, so which is exceptional short. We have also Panama. Panama has also a Panama Family Foundation. You can have in Panama same structure for people who want to protect their assets in Panama. In Panama, you can have a family foundation.
You also recommend Panama, or you think
Yes, it depends
are there any
Yeah.
differences or advantages in your opinion between Panama and Cook Island?
Yes, it depends on your specific situation. For US clients, go as far away as possible. And for other clients, they like, this depends a little bit, Anglo-Saxon mentality. Clients with Anglo-Saxon mentality, they prefer trusts. They prefer
Perfect.
Cook Island trust.
I
And
understand.
client from Europe with the continental
Civil,
jurisdiction.
continental civil law.
Yeah, exactly. They prefer the family foundation from Panama law.
Okay.
By the way, the Panamanian legislator has stolen the law from Liechtenstein, the family foundation laws from Liechtenstein, because Liechtenstein's family foundation have been used in the old days of Swiss Wild West banking with strong Swiss banking secrecy. The standard structure was a Liechtenstein family foundation in combination with the Swiss banking secrecy. This was the asset protection atomic bomb at that time. Today, such constructions are illegal, but at that time it was everything legal, of course.
And so it's
But okay.
it's so amazing to hear you because you have so many content and so many information, important information for I think that entrepreneurs all around the world, but especially for Brazilians. And I'm going to tell you why. Brazilians, they are going through a specific situation. We are going to have elections in Brazil. Everybody is afraid because the taxation in Brazil is increasing a lot. And this is something that I keep telling Brazilians. Look, you have insurance you have health insurance, you have insurance for your car, but you should have insurance for instabilities around the state, around the politics, around the election. So the best strategy is to keep your money, at least some of it, offshore. I think this is one of the best strategies. And for sure, you have mentioned some important information like Switzerland has one of the most stable banking systems in the world. It's tradition. It's the number one. So if you think about asset protection, you need to go to Switzerland. This is something that you would never choose another jurisdiction, or at least you have to start with Switzerland. Do you agree with that?
Yes, of course, of course. And we saw this, you remember 10 years ago
Yeah.
when we worked together, when we did the voluntary disclosure procedure, when we legalized Brazilian money sitting in Switzerland of entrepreneurs, they brought the money to Switzerland to not pay taxes in
Yeah.
Brazil. And we helped our clients to legalize the money. At that time, we visited many banks. You remember, we visited the banks. We had meetings with bankers and with clients. And they were happy. But what is important for Switzerland is also here there are fraudsters. So it's not that if your money is in Switzerland, you are safe. You have to make sure that you are working with the real existing banks, because there are fake websites, many fraudsters from Russia, from Lithuania. You cannot trust everybody. So
Recording
take a
stopped.
lawyer, take a law firm, and let you take the advice and check the bank. What we do also with our clients, we invite our clients to Switzerland. We go and visit the bank, we propose. Many clients, we can open the account online. That's okay, open the account. But we do the account opening proceeding, we open the account. But before transferring millions, come to Switzerland. Come to me. I will take you to 1, 2, 3 banks. I will introduce 2, 3, 4 asset managers. And why I tell you that? Because nearly 20% of all assets in Switzerland are managed by external asset managers, and 80% of all assets are managed by banks. And I tell you one thing, the performance of the asset managers services, so the asset managers, they do a much better job than banks, because remember, the banker is not your friend. The banker is employed by the bank. He receives a salary from the bank. The banker is under pressure. He
Makes
has to
sense.
place
Yeah.
the bank's products. He has to place the funds produced by the banks. He has to place the structured products. He has to sell structured products, not the best product for the client, the best product for the bank. And that's why the performance will be very limited and the fees are very high. So what you get if you come to me, to my law firm, I will ensure that you have a fair pricing. What is a fair pricing? Let me give you an example. For, let's say, 1 million Swiss francs, which is 1,100. How much is 1 million Swiss francs in dollars now?
It's 1,100,000 and something, right?
1
Dollars.
million 100, yeah, 1 million 100. So the typical fees are 1% from the assets, and for this 1 million for the asset manager, and 0.2% to the bank. This is fair pricing. So for 1 million, you pay 12,000 a year, which is 1.2%. This is a fair fee. And people who stay with bank without external asset management, they pay 3%, 4%, or even more. And plus their portfolio, there is a lot of products from the bank, and your performance will be modest. You have maybe 3, 4, 5% performance. My clients, since 2008, they made every year between 8 and 12% performance per year. Now since 2008, since 18 years, I'm doing this business since 18 years. And they did good performance. And my investors are conservative investors. They are not speculating on artificial intelligence, on cryptocurrency and whatever. They are conservative investors, and their asset managers have the instructions to manage their money in a conservative way, because it's generational wealth, long term. This is the idea behind. So this is the first step. First step is opening a Swiss bank account, appointing an external asset manager to manage your money. Then what they do is they open a private vault here in Switzerland, not a bank, not keeping the physical gold with the bank. They keep the physical gold in a private vault in Switzerland with a private vault company.
That's very interesting, because the company will not participate in the CRS, right?
Exactly, because gold is not a reportable, it's not a bankable asset, so it's not subject to reporting obligation. So to achieve the highest level of confidentiality, to achieve the highest level of protection, you should invest in physical gold which you can touch, gold bars. These are investment bars, the 9999 bars, because Switzerland, by the way, is the most important gold marketplace. Since the 70s. Since the 70s in the last century, it was London. Since the 70s of the last century till today, it's Switzerland, the most important place for gold. In Switzerland, we have 4 refineries, 4 most important refineries who are refining roughly 80% of all the gold in the world are refined in Switzerland, 80%. Of all the investment, because the gold comes 22 carats from Africa, from South America, from wherever,
And then, so just one question: the private vote, then you kind of rent the vote. Is that correct?
Exactly. You rent the vault, so you rent the box. Basically, and you pay the rent. And the company, they don't care what you have in the box. You can store your documents. You can store physical gold there. So most people store gold and silver. You can also buy silver, but then we have another storage problem because silver has volumes. And then if you have this private vault, what does it mean? It means you're out of the banking system. It's not reportable. So you can keep it very secret. Okay, of course, we have to do analysis jurisdiction. I don't know how according it is with Brazilian jurisdiction, if you can keep it secret.
Yeah, you need to report. But anyway, the thing is...
In Brazil or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
This has to be analyzed on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah. No, I understand. But I think it's really interesting, especially for, not for tax evasion, but for if you have, if you want secrecy, if you want to protect yourself against like civil liability or something like this,
Because nobody knows that you have a private vault, because it's not in the banking system. It's not in the banking system. It's not subject to reporting obligation. So you have a part of your assets in this vault. Whenever you need it, you can sell it. It's like a currency. Gold is money. Everything else is a promise, is a liability. So investment in gold, they are very happy. All my clients are very happy because they invested in gold already years and years ago. They are all happy because they made huge profit with gold. And gold will increase. This is my opinion. It will increase. And by side, it's a good investment. But you should have the gold. At least you can pay your lawyers. If bullshit happens, it comes suddenly. Bullshit happens suddenly. There is no alert, no red flag. It comes overnight. And then if you need money, then your account are frozen. What do the lawyers of financial predators, of greedy spouses and of competitors, what they do? They freeze the accounts. Simoes, you can agree that, what do lawyers? What is the first lawyers do? They are freezing accounts, of course.
Yes.
And then the accounts are frozen. Your domestic accounts are frozen. At least with the gold in Switzerland, you can pay your lawyers.
It's the last resort.
And defend yourself efficiently.
Makes all sense, Enzo. Makes all sense. Enzo, it's really, really nice to hear.
This is the second step, physical gold. Then we have more steps, with the trust, with golden visa, with citizenship by investments, with second passports, because in these days, people are become more mobile. Mobility is important. And we have a very interesting development. So, especially in the European Union, you don't care so much what happens in the European Union because you are in Brazil. But I have to tell you only bad news, especially our German clients. They tell us bad news from Germany. What they want to introduce, they want to attach taxation to the passport, like in the United States of America. So what does it mean?
A second fiscal residence.
Exactly. What happens now? Many European countries introduced exit tax.
Brazil will do the same in the future, for sure.
Will do the same.
Yes.
Because many successful entrepreneurs from Germany, they come to Switzerland. Many successful entrepreneurs from UK, they came to Switzerland.
In South America, it's Paraguay. Brazilians, companies, everybody's going to Paraguay.
By the way, Paraguay is also very interesting from Germans. There are many Germans living in Paraguay. They left Germany because of huge taxation.
I know.
Germany was the exit taxation.
I know.
And now, even the exit taxation is not enough. They want to attach the taxation to the passport. That means, as the Americans, you have to pay
Okay.
taxes if you
By
have a German
citizenship.
passport.
By
So,
citizenship. I understand.
by citizenship. So even if you go to Paraguay, you have to pay taxes. Or even if you go to Switzerland, if you are German, you have to.
I didn't
So
know
what-
that. Okay, so they want to change the system.
What to do in such a situation? What to do? You need also a second passport. We advise our clients to buy a second, third, or even fourth passport. We have Arab clients who've bought 5 different passports, who have 5 passports to move. Because imagine you're an Egyptian entrepreneur. You have only obstacles. You cannot travel because to apply for a visa in this country, it needs 5 weeks. In the other country, it needs again 5 weeks, and the passport is frozen. You cannot travel. So these people, they apply for, with the citizenship by investment program, they buy a passport. You can buy different jurisdiction. You can buy a Malta passport, a Cyprus passport, St. Kitts and Nevis passport was bought. A passport gives more flexibility. So for each client, we also analyze this situation. We check maybe he needs a golden visa, or a passport. The golden visa is the right to enter a country, to go to a country whenever you like. When something bad happens, you jump in your private jet and you fly to the destination country.
Amazing.
In which you have the golden visa.
Amazing.
Things are becoming more important because the countries, they want to bind taxation to the citizenship. And if you have a second passport, you can relinquish. For example, let's take the German example. The guy who has to pay taxes in Germany, even if he lives in Paraguay, he has to pay taxes in Germany because taxation will be linked to his passport. If he has a Kitts and Nevis passport, or he has another passport, St. Kitts and Nevis, Grenada, Antigua, these passports can be, you can have these passports for $200,000. St. Kitts and Nevis and this jurisdiction, the Caribbean, this passport, you can legally buy these passports and you can open an account with this passport, very important. If you have, or you can buy a Malta passport, which a European Union passport costs more than $1 million, a Malta passport, and the procedure takes a year. But then, as a non-EU national, you have a European Union passport, a Malta passport, and then as a German, what you can do, you can give back your German passport to abolish tax liabilities to Germany and continue your life with the Maltese passport. But you need a passport.
Amazing.
You cannot back a passport because if you have no passport, you are like the refugees.
Yeah, I
If you're
understand.
not more a tax refugee, you become a real refugee.
And so I just want to let our followers and the people that are listening to us to know that we have known each other for more than a decade. And I admire you so much. I think that you have so many information, and it's always a privilege to hear you talking about all these subjects. And also I would like to thank you participating, because I know that you're in Italy and you will be returning to Switzerland soon. And I expect to meet you.
Now I'm in Italy and it's very hot. It's very hot.
Very hot.
It's very, very
I expect
hot.
to meet you physically again. As people may know, I always meet Enzo in Zurich, one of the fanciest places on earth and one of the best places on earth. Enzo has a law firm in near Bahnhofstrasse, so it's always a pleasure to visit Enzo physically in Switzerland, in Zurich.
Near Paradeplatz,
Near Paradeplatz, yeah. And so Enzo, I just want to thank you once more. We should keep doing this at least once per month, 2 times per month. It's always a pleasure to hear you, and just want to thank you again for participating. Please tell me your final thoughts on the subject, and hope to see you soon, my friend.
Thank you very much, Simon. Thank you very much for your invitation. It was a great pleasure to take part to your show, and I'm happy to give more episodes, to disclose more interesting content. So keep in mind, it's very simple. Opening a Swiss bank account It's not a rocket science. It takes 10 days, it takes 2 weeks, and then you have a Swiss bank account, your money's out. And it's much safer than before, much safer just by this simple transfer. It's a stupidity, it's nothing. We help you to find the right bank, the safest banks in the world. We give to our clients the safest banks, and we introduce you to asset managers that are honest people. That is very important, honest, and they grow your money step by step, long term, no speculation, generational wealth.
Perfect.
Let's speak about another topic in the next show, Simoes.
Okay, Enzo. Thank you so much. See you soon, my friend.
Thank
All
you.
the best.
Have a nice day. Bye bye.